Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. and it's March 14th. Welcome to my channel. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. So we have it's March 14th, 8:10 a.m. All right, this market, I'm not sure if it's bottoming, right? It's kind of still not moving anywhere for multiple sessions. So we're in this balance area. Yesterday we did make new lows. This morning we're bouncing off those lows. I know government shutdown was on the horizon. I think that was avoided now, but um, not sure what we do here. Like I said, there's a big level. We'll go over it later in the NASDAQ. I'll just go over it again. I know I've been talking about it. That has not been taken out. Kind of lines up with the 2024 year-to-date anchor VWAP, which the Qs cannot break. So we're very oversold. However, that doesn't mean that you can't go lower. It just means that there's a lot of selling that's been happening, right? And usually you get a rip-roaring bounce eventually, okay? And we just have to see what happens. There's some key levels we'll go over today. Without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and volume profile to find structure in the markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That's how I look at structure in the markets, and structure is king right now. My market internals, I use my bread and butter. However, since we're almost 4 to 5 times volatility, right, in the markets, those readings that are usually like, okay, the ticks are starting to grow like that, or the internals are moving. It's kind of like that, and you can kind of game plan on it. It could go from weak to strong to weak to strong, and it's you just need to concentrate on structure. Structure is the name of the game. Don't get me wrong. Yesterday we got pretty weak. Okay, even with the increased volatility. So we started off pretty good, but then it kind of turned, right? But its market keeps trying to go lower. So I don't know what's exactly going to happen here. Now, every morning I do this. Hopefully, you can join me. All right. Join me. I'll give you the news, I'll give you the updates, the story of the market. We'll go over some leaders and laggards. Okay. And a long and short trade scenario. Right. Long and short trade scenario. All right. So, without further ado, why don't we get right into the mix, right into the futures watch list. Let's see what we have going on here. And who's our leader today? It is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up 4.11%, followed by Ethereum up 2.86, followed by silver up 1.29, followed by Nasdaq up 1.17. Russell's up 1.94. 10-year yield is up almost a percent. ES up 0.85. Crude's up 0.80. Gold up 0.62. The Dow is up 0.52. The dollar is down 0.21. 30-year bonds being sold down a half a percent, and the VIX is down 2.60%. It's at a 24 VIX. Okay, moving on to the Mag 7 Plus. Let's check out this list. All right, let's move to the leader, the little Bitcoin proxy here, Coinbase. Okay, up 3.05%, followed by Broadcom, up 2.76%, followed by Nvidia, up 2.58%. Nvidia is starting to climb back. Definitely starting to climb back. Meta's up 1.97, Tesla's up 1.95, Amazon up 1.65, Netflix up 1.23, and AMD up 1.16, Google up 1.06. Everybody's up. I mean, this is a nice bounce. There's no laggard here. Okay, moving on to sectors, the guts of the market. All right, so guts of the market. What do we have here? Semis leading the pack, up 1.67. Okay, followed by technology, which encompasses semis, up 1.38, followed by discretionary, That's been the weakest sector, up 1.14, followed by financials. Okay. Energy. There is no laggard besides staples, and it's flat. It's not even negative. Okay. It's not even negative. So that's what we have for the sectors. Now, we can jump right into what we have for our economic calendar today. And we basically have one thing that we're paying attention to that has been moving markets is the Michigan consumer sentiment. Okay. This number has definitely moved markets the last couple times. So that's at 10 a.m. today. We are expecting 63.1. We got 64.7 previously. Okay. I believe we missed this number last time. Let's see if there's a history here. Let's see here. The last number was 221. Consensus was 671. 67.8. We missed it. We missed the number before. This caused both moves lowers in the market. Okay. All right. Now, let's get into some news. All right. So, with uncertainty comes growing economic risk for the Fed to weigh. Since U.S. President Donald Trump took office in January, he has imposed biting new tariffs with more coming, began a disruptive cull of federal jobs and spending, risked a political fracture with Europe, and acknowledged an economy that was by most measures, fine when he took over, now faces some bumps. Let's see, exclusive Tesla plans Model Y costing at least 20% less to produce to defend China's share. Boeing, Apple, GE to join U.S. business mission to Vietnam next week. American Airlines jet engine catches fire. Oh boy. After landing in Denver, passengers evacuated. Not good for airlines. Let's see here. Major U.S. toy maker speeds up plan to move manufacturing out of China. That's interesting. A major supplier of toys to Walmart and Target is accelerating its shift out of China as it reshapes production amid President Donald Trump's intensifying trade war with the country. Okay. Now, let's move on to see if anything else. Let's see. Ulta Beauty, the beauty retailer, beat sales and profit expectation for the fourth quarter on Thursday, signaling a robust holiday season as shoppers flock to its stores for products ranging from cosmetics to perfumes. Okay. Let's see. Oracle. The company is in discussions with the Indonesian government to establish a cloud services center in the country's Batam Island. Interesting. That's really interesting. That toy supplier going to make it in America. That's very interesting. And then Tesla would talk about the low cost version. All right, so we got Alphabet, Google got cut target price 210 from 220. Looks like raised target price of Dollar General. Ulta Beauty cuts target price to 364 from 425. And then we got all these Michigan consumer sentiment numbers coming out today. Okay, that's what's going on there. Now I looked at the juice. I can't. Let's see. There was something in here that I thought. Oh yeah, it basically just said the S&P is in a correction, falls 20% from February. That means a correction, right? After 10%, you go 20%. That's considered bear market. All right. Now we'll move on here. We're going to move on to. Let's go to some charts. Look at the breadth. All right. Let's look at some breadth here. And we're going to go to my first chart that I like to go to. That is how many stocks are above their 20% 20-day moving average in the daily chart of the S&P 500. We are down to 16%. Okay? If you look to the left, okay, you can see in the past this is pretty much an extreme reading, and you usually get a bounce. Look at this reading right here. You bounced up. You can see here we bounced up. Get the extreme reading right here, and you can see we bounced. Okay, so that's interesting. Only 16% of the S&P 500 stocks are above their 20-day moving average. Okay, this gives you a good barometer of the market. Okay, now we got a bunch to go into here. We're going to go first into AII Bull. All right, these are investors and their sentiments. Okay, so we're at 19, so this really hasn't changed. So that means 19% of investors that were surveyed, or 19% are bullish, which obviously is not a lot. The bear side, okay, 59% are bearish. Okay, those are those. Now we go to the bullish percentage in bullish percent index. Oops, sorry. Let's look at the bullish percent index, and we'll look at that on the S&P. Okay, so this is getting lower. Okay, extreme readings 22. Very extreme is 11. Okay, this was back in 2022. Okay, just to give you for instance there. So this means, okay, bullish percent index, 34% of stocks in the S&P 500 are on buy signals. That is not a lot, right? That is not a lot. Now we can also look at new highs, new lows. Let's look at that together. All right, so we're minus 167. So we're getting lower. More stocks are making lows. Okay, this is just giving overall breadth readings. Okay, now if we do one more here, we do bullish percent index, and we can actually do it on the NASDAQ composite and the NYSE. So let's look at the NYSE. It should be weaker. 34% on a buy signal. Okay. Let's look at the NASDAQ composite. This is the NASDAQ 100. Let's start out with the NASDAQ 100. Now, see, that's been weaker, right? Only 29% of stocks are on buy signals in the NASDAQ 100, right? But what about the NASDAQ composite, right? The NASDAQ exchange, basically. 35. Okay, that's expected. Okay, so that gives you an overall market. We're pretty much kind of overdone a lot, but that doesn't mean we can't move lower. I'm just saying it is a fact that the sentiment is weak. Doesn't mean we can't go lower. This is what we got going on right now. All right. So with that being said, I think we can move on to daily charts. All right. Let's look at these dailies. Let's move on to dailies. Now you can see in the SPY here. Okay, this is what we did yesterday. Made new lows. All right, made new lows. Like I said, do we have a meet with destiny here with this trend line? And this trend line goes way. I'm sorry, I keep on saying that. It goes from here. Okay, could that be where we're headed? I don't know. And it's also the 2024 year-to-date anchor VWAP. So this is from last year in January, and the Qs are touching that. So I don't know if we have a date with that and then we bounce, or we're gonna bounce now. I do not know. Nobody knows that. Okay, where are we at now? 557. We are $6 above yesterday's close. So we are at 557. 15 right here. So we're at the upper third of yesterday's session. So we're bouncing nicely. Okay. Obviously, a nice bounce would be to take out these highs, try to go into last week's lows. Okay, that's what we're working with right now. So here's futures just to get a nice little look at where we are. You can see we're bouncing from yesterday's lows all the way up to here, just like I said. Moving on to the Qs. So here's those Qs. If we go back, right? Let's draw a trend line just while we're here from this low. Oop, that's not the good low that I wanted. From this low. There we go. Let's see here. Ooh, look at that trend line. Oh boy, let's edit this. Let me just make sure I put that right on that. There we go. So we broke that trend, but that's from way back there, right? So I'll keep that up there. Okay. Now look what's going on here. This is the year-to-date anchor VWAP from last year. You can see where it starts That's the beginning of 2024. And we're just keep hitting it and bouncing, right? So let's look at this together here. Where are we now? We are, what is that? Almost $7 up from the close of yesterday. We are at 574.80. 474.80, I'm sorry. 474.80. All right, so the Nasdaq is relatively stronger today. Really almost at the highs of yesterday in the QQQ. Pretty impressive. Okay, that has been lagging. So let's move on to the futures so we can see that visually. Right here, pushing up. Now in the QQQ, we're at the top. Remember, this is 24-hour sessions, so it will look a little different in futures. Okay, look a little different in futures. Now you can see the 90 EMA daily. We haven't touched that in a while. So that's your short trending moving average. We just have not tagged that at all. Okay, that's just something to look at. All right, now moving on to your triple-headed monster. We'll look at that bond market. Let's go there. Alrighty. Here's that bond market. Very crucial area. Last week's highs. Is this the swing low before we drop? I don't know. But we're ranging now. Right? We're ranging now. Okay? Moving on to the dollar. That dollar's been getting smoked. But you can see this support I've been talking about. What are we going to do here? If we break this support, this is really bearish for the dollar. Okay? VIX. We still have fear, folks. We still have fear. We're at 23.8 VIX. Now you can see we're trending lower. Now if you just look at the VIX, right, we're not uptrending in the market like this, right? If you do the inverse, this market doesn't look like an uptrend reversible of the VIX. However, fear or hedging is subsiding a little bit, right? You can see it here. Even though the market made a new low yesterday, look, the VIX didn't make a new high. So, interesting, right? Interesting. Moving on. All right, moving on. Let's look at the big levels that I talked about. We'll do that first, okay? We'll do that first. Just give me a sec while I bring that up. I just want to show you guys the levels that I'm talking about, okay? All right. This is my express chart. It's one of my favorites to look at. Okay, now this is just for anybody who hasn't seen this chart with me before. This is the heat map profile, volume profile of the last rolling year. You can see the most traded price of the rolling years all the way up here. That price is 61.35. That used to be, I believe, here. Okay, but every big spike is a high volume node. You'll notice that that's where the market has based. Okay, so the market is here. This is this week's profile. This blue. Most traded price is 56. I think that's 18. Okay, we are bouncing here. Notice this high volume node from the past. This is kind of becoming support. Okay, in order for the market to really get cooking, it needs to take out this most traded price of the week, 56.18, and then try to take out this high volume node. And you can see the poor structure here. We can definitely move back up to at least 57. I think that's 84. Okay, let me make sure that 57. Yes, no, 57.68. Okay, that's your ES. Now let's go to the Nasdaq. And how do we look here? Okay, this is this big level. Okay, it's the most traded price right here, this shelf. And I've kept on talking about that. I said, I don't know if the Nasdaq has the strength to go through this level. That level is 190.72. It's the most traded price of the rolling year. Okay, you can see this white profile. I didn't say it in the other one. Is this year's profile. You can see the low of this year is right here. It actually wasn't put in yesterday. It was put in back here. All right. So we're moving up, right? Now look, this month's profile, this is what's great about this. The whites are the monthlies. So the 194.50, 125 is ultimate balance. And I'll show that to you in there. So we're starting to cross. You can see the big node here. If we cross and start accepting price, okay, you got poor structure right there. We can go right back to this 201.81 level. Okay, so it's doing its job right now. We're in ultimate balance. Big moves happen from ultimate balance. Okay, now just a review of what I said in the past. I said this big shelf, I said, if we break that, that is not good. And look what happened. Once we accepted price below that, what happened? Boom. Okay, that's how it works, how the market works. You base, you trend. You base, you trend. That's how we work. That's how it works, right? All right, moving on. Just wanted to show you guys that. We're going to look at the ES. Okay, we're looking at the ES together. Of course, this is our market profile, volume profile. Hope everything is making sense. Whoever's watching, not sure. All right, let's look at this together. We're basically in balance. Okay. Here's the weekly profile. You got excess to the top. We got our value area. And we got our little excess to the bottom. Okay, market's pushing up as we speak. Okay. Now, most traded price of the week, 56.20, 56.20, right there. Market needs to get over and accept price above 56.20. Okay, because until then, the 56.40 area is value area high, and the 56, let's call it 60 area, is value area low. That's 70% of the trading volume is in that area. Okay, so as soon as we come up here, you need to break it, hold, hold, hold in order to break out of this and get a move higher. Okay, month to day VWAPs all the way up to here at 57.25. All right, so our main thing to also look at is our week to date VWAP, which is right here. Oop, let me show you that. Let me back up a little bit. Okay, so right here is the week to date VWAP. I made that smaller. Okay, right there. That's at 56.04. Okay, we need to get over that as well. That just means that sellers are in control of the week. Sellers are in control of the week. Okay, we break that, and look what would happen if we broke the week to date VWAP. Puts all sellers on notice and underwater. And if we hold 56.20, the most traded price of the week. That's the most long and shorts, right? If you go and hold price and start to move away, all shorts will have to cover their positions. Okay, and this is last week's lows, possibly get into last week's range. A big move should happen. Okay, now the most traded price of the month hasn't moved down yet, right? But it's rolling. So as this time goes on, we could get ultimate balance in ES. All right, so let's analyze what happened yesterday. All right, so we opened up, right? And the first thing we did, okay, push down right to here. And actually, I had a nice long here. I got long right around here and took it all the way up into supply. Okay, and then this supply zone held. Happened to be the most traded price of the overnight as well. And then we just lower, 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 and then tried to go higher and went lower. Right? I actually pushed up to here. That's what happened yesterday. Okay, and this market, like I said, is just not an easy read, right? Because remember yesterday, I said, because yesterday we had these lows, I said, have to be protected with this demand zone. And look, it broke those lows, right? But then still caught a bid here. Okay. All right. All right. So let's look at what's doing overnight. So here's something to be aware of. We are about 90% net long in the overnight, right? That's the only short activity. Here's the long, and we're at the top. Okay. So in a bearish environment, that's a little tasty for a bear because we know we have longs from here and here, and they're all getting paid. Okay. That makes this move a little susceptible for a nice correction, right? It makes a move for a nice correction. All right. So overnight high, overnight low, inside yesterday's highs and lows. Okay, so you're inside yesterday's session. So the thing you want to pay attention to is yesterday's highs and lows. That's really the area that the magic is going to happen. Okay, that the magic is going to happen. So we do have a demand zone right here, right there, and we have this demand zone down here. We also have a confluence low. Okay, confluence is as many points that line up. In this case, it's our close. Yesterday's close, it's the most traded price of yesterday, and it's the overnight low. Okay, if that breaks, we should go down. If it holds, we could move up, right? All that we have to see. We do have a very balanced profile in the overnight. All right. So if I'm going to draw out levels, it's going to be this area. Bulls want to defend it. Bears want to break it, right? We got a bull. We got a demand zone right here with the most traded price of the overnight. Can that be supportive? I don't know. All right. And of course, we have yesterday's highs in the supply zone, which encompasses the most traded price of the week. Okay, this is our map for today. Now we're going to go into scenarios. Okay. Let's do it. We're going to start off with the bull side. Not because they're in control, just because my bias is leaning towards at least we move up into here. Okay. It's very balanced profile. So it's not like it's definitely running out of participants up here, which means that like I said, this overnight could correct. 90% long in the overnight can definitely have a correction. Okay. So what can I see happening? And this is our bull case. We pull back. Where? Overnight, most traded price, and demand. This is the first time where buyers can step up. If they do, we can go and test yesterday's highs, 56.03. Also, weekday VWAP. Remember what I said that before. If you break weekday VWAP and you need to break above the most traded price of the week, 56.20, and find acceptance. That's acceptance. You can possibly break out. Now, maybe we just stop at last week's lows, but if we can go up, we can go all the way up to 57.25. You don't have a lot of volume. You have very thin volume up here. Okay? That's an opportunity here. Now, what else can happen? Well, we can get a deeper pullback into this area, into this week right here. This confluence low. Most traded price of yesterday, the close of yesterday, the overnight lows. If we come into here, dip our toe, and we start to move, that can also be a move. Now, I don't know if you get a move from down here to a breakout, but you possibly can move just up at the top of balance. Okay? Once you start to go deeper in here, it could still bounce. So we could still get a whoop and maybe even just go to here. Okay? That is your bull. Okay? Now, let's move on to the bearish side. Okay, so bearish side, it's just the inverse. Okay, remember, 90% net long, that's a feather in the cap for bears. Okay, so what could you see with a bearish scenario? Go right up into this supply zone, weekday VWAP, try to hit 56.20, fail, Now this could be a fail too if you do this. That's not acceptance of price. You go back under. Now all longs for here are in trouble. They got to liquidate. And you just start cascading, cascading, cascading until you get to the most traded price of the overnight. If you take that out in this demand zone, you're going to test that confluence low here. Break that. You're going to try to probably test yesterday's lows. 56, around 55.09. Okay, you break this, we might go to 54.80, the high volume node here. Okay, that's what you kind of got to look for. That's really the only thing I'm looking for right now, be honest with you. Now, of course, could we just break this and then we like hold, hold, hold? But I'm not going to be loving a short there for right now. I don't see that as a favorite setup for me. I want to see something up here because people are shorting pops. Okay, all right. Moving on to the NASDAQ. Let's look at this NASDAQ together. All right, so the NASDAQ is in ultimate balance. Okay, right here, 196. Okay, ultimate balance is when the most traded price of the month, the most traded price of the week line up. Okay, now this is real-time trading hours. This is 24. We're looking at a 24-hour trading hours, but in the real-time trading hours, this is the most traded price. Okay, 196. Okay, price is below it, so you need to get above that level. Okay, for the bulls to get into to win back, get a little feather on that their cap, they need to find acceptance over 196 to go higher. Okay, if they cannot, we're going to go back. Okay, we're going to go back. Now, let's look at what's going on. We do have an inside overnight session, right? We're at the highs of the overnights. Here's yesterday's lows, yesterday's highs. Okay, we are pretty much 90% net long, just like we are in the ES. So it's all about yesterday's lows and highs again. Now, yesterday's highs lines up with what? Ultimate balance. It's a confluence high. So this is a big wall. Can this market get over that? I don't know. I really don't. Right? But if they do, that's a big feather in their cap. A big feather in their cap. Okay? Now, yesterday, we came down here, and now we have balanced lows here in the NASDAQ from 192 to about 190, 140. Here's that monster level that I talked about, that 190.27, I believe it is, or something right here. That's that large high volume node that I said has not been pierced yet. And I don't think it's ready to get broken yet. But I could be wrong. It's just we move so low, right? So we know we got confluence lows here. Let me make these. So here's our like a little area that encompasses that large level and the lows of this balance area. Okay. Now we also have this week this little confluence low here that encompasses the close and the overnight low and the most traded price. So just similar to the ES right there. Okay. Now we have week to date view up right there. And we have our monster ultimate balance level. So I'm going to make this level with the ultimate balance in here. This is our playground and where we should be interested in trading. Okay. So if we're going to go into scenarios. Okay. Let's go with the bull first. All right. Now, we just hit the week to day view up right there. And now we're kind of bouncing off of it, right? So here's the job for the bulls. Okay. Now, this to me looks like we should get a correction. Okay. Now, another area to pay attention to. There's a demand right here, and the most traded price of the overnight, right there. Okay. So we're adding another box for the bulls. So what could happen? We're long from here. We're long from here. Gets a little frothy. Comes back into this area. If it's supportive, we can move up into that 196 ultimate balance level. Now, it's all about finding acceptance above this level. So what I would want to see is break the supply, start holding, accept. Then you can get a move. Go back into last week's range, possibly get all the way up into maybe 199, 20,000. Go right up to the month to day VWAP right there. Okay? That's your first pullback. Now, we can get a deeper pullback, right? We can go all the way down to this confluence low. That can bounce as well and try to do the same thing. If we go deeper to back to here, to this big low, if we break this and touch that big level here, I still think we could bounce. That is not an easy trade, but even if we did this, couldn't find acceptance and went like this, you just got to understand, everybody who's short here, I'm not saying they know this level like I do because of Iron Profile, but it's definitely a level where you're going to be like taking profit if this goes like this and like this, and you could find yourself back up in here. Okay, that is our bull case. So bear case, very simple. Okay, very simple. I'm going to put this little box for the bear case here. All right, so we know we're long from the lows here, long from the lows of the overnight. Okay, primed for a correction. Now, if we come back into this big level, the ultimate balance level is 196. It's also a supply zone, and we cannot find acceptance above it. And we do something like this and then hold. Well, we're going to go down and test this overnight most traded price and this demand. Okay, that's about 194.14. If we break that, we're going to go and test the overnight lows and this confluence low right here. Okay, break that. Yeah, we're going to test these balance lows. And then we might have a shot of testing that monster level, the most traded price of the rolling year. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road, and either you're going to get a violent bounce, and like I said, if this has to find acceptance here, that is not good for the markets, and we could tank big time. I don't think the market's ready for that yet, but you never know. Okay? So, that is it, folks. That is my analysis for today. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. All right, please smash that like button if you did. All right. Now, hopefully, you could, like always, you can join me, subscribe, and set an alert. I do this every morning. I give you the news, the leaders and the laggards. I give you long and short trade scenarios, and I give you just what's going on in the markets. Okay? This market is not easy. Okay? Not easy. Now, when you're day trading futures, it's not easy. Right? Not easy because the markets flip on a dime, the ranges are bigger. Okay? If you're hitting highs and lows, you can scalp because of the moves. Right? I'm not a scalper. So, but you can get. I had a very nice trade yesterday. That first long, that was a good run. But then it just got stopped. Right. So, not stopped out, but like I hit my target. So, so everybody, it's Friday. Have a great weekend. All right, and I'll see you guys on Monday. And follow our plan. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you don't, Good luck trading. Stay green. All right. Take it easy.